It's Lisa Bradley of Pretty Green Plant Things, the place for fun, education, and passion regarding all things green. And today I wanted to talk about watering our plants. And this is a very contentious issue for me and for others because even sometimes when we have strict instructions and we've studied things, sometimes the plants just kind of are disagreeable and may or may not do well. So I wanted to give you some pointers that I've used to try and help with some of the issues I've had with watering, root rot, and things like that that can happen with our watering process. The first thing, and I really want you guys to pay attention to this. When you get your plants, there's usually a little tab in the soil or a little sticker on the planter pot. And this gives you information on what the plant is, the sun exposure, the watering requirements, sometimes how often to fertilize. So this is really a great tool and information. So what I did for years is I kept those little tabs in a Ziploc and I just kept it with my plant supplies so that even if sometimes, maybe the plant started losing more leaves or, was losing its variegation or whatever was happening, then I could go back and at least find out what the name of the plant was, review the care tips and Google it if I needed to, watch some YouTube videos, whatever it was, to try and get the plant back or, in a better condition. So that's the first thing is utilizing the tools that you have and that they sell with the plant. The other thing is that if you want a little bit more expansive information is check out other YouTube videos, check out Pinterest, or just Google it. There's a tremendous amount of information regarding these plants. So just make sure that you're not just out there in the wild trying to manage these plants because you think you can just wing it, because oftentimes you'll bring a beautiful plant home and within a couple of weeks it's already starting to deteriorate because you're overwatering, underwatering, but it doesn't have the right sun exposure. So just make sure that you read up on your plant babes. It's super quick and it really helps you and the plant. The other thing is making sure that you, once you know what your plant requires, that you start to implement that and then step back and take a look and see how your plant is responding to that watering protocol. So, if it says water when the top 2 inches are dry and you're doing that and the plant still isn't thriving, look around, see if there's a heat source that may be drying out the plant quicker than you anticipated, or if it's summertime, the soil may dry out rapidly compared to the winter time. So the climate, the outdoor climate, as well as your internal home climate, will also cause the requirements for watering to fluctuate throughout the year. So the other thing is your plant in water already, right? So sometimes we just forget these things. So I have a pothos here, and I have pothos all around the house. And this one is water propagated. You can see the roots here. And make sure that you're checking in on your plants. And I'm glad that I'm doing this video because the water in here is almost completely gone. So if you have something that's water propagated, make sure that you're checking your water levels, make sure that your roots are looking good, and just keep an eye on things, especially the more plants that you have, it can be a bit overwhelming. So if you have clusters of plants throughout the house, maybe put common plants in certain clusters so that you can build a routine. So I have a planner that I use for plant care, and I'll show you guys some images here. But use something so that you can keep tabs on when does this need to be watered? When's the last time I watered it? What type of soil do I have? So that's another issue that can determine how rapidly or how often you need to water the plant is the soil component. So we already talked about doing hydroponics or water propagated plants that are just in water. The other thing is if you have a succulent, right, that's going to have a well draining soil, or it should. and I'll give you the components of the succulent mix that I use. But this is a plant that, number one, succulents in general do not need to be watered very often. I let these get completely bone dry before I water them. And so in the summertime, like I was saying before, the time of year and the heat exposure, in the summertime, these are watered, they're outdoors and they're watered once a week. When I bring them indoors, I only water them once a month. And some of them, I go the entire winter without watering them because they just don't require, they store a lot of water in their leaves and they do not require a lot of water. And you'll also look for signs on all of your plants that maybe, even though they're on a schedule and they have specific requirements that are recommended, sometimes there are signs that even though it's only been a week into wintertime with a succulent, if the leaves start getting wrinkly, I know that this needs a little bit of water, but I'm very, very careful when they're dormant in the wintertime about how much water I'm giving them. Whereas I'll show you a picture of my peace lily. This plant is very dramatic. So it goes from perfect and I'm doing great to it starts drooping its leaves when it's time to be watered. And if I don't water it on time, it lets me know right away that, hey, I need some water. So your plants will give you signs like the wrinkled leaves, the drooping leaves, the soil, of course, when you put your finger in and it's dry, depending upon the plant type, like with pothos that are in soil, I usually let it get at least 2 to 3 inches dry below the surface before I water them. These are, I treat these almost like succulents. So these get watered when they're in soil. They get watered about every 2 to 3 weeks. If they're in water already as a hydroponic, I make sure that I keep water at where the roots begin so that the roots are always submerged. So the other thing I wanted to talk about are vessels for watering. Now, I'll pretty much turn anything into a water vessel. So I've got like old drink bottles. I turn these in and I just have them all around the house. And then you can also have like a regular watering can that you use. I don't have a preference. I just use what's available to me, and I'm very frugal. So I'll keep this forever, or I'll use bottles from wine or juice or anything. I prefer to use glass. So I'll have these, if I get a great, uh, like a gallon of apple juice, I'll keep that gallon bottle around to water. And the other thing is great because then I just put it in the locations. Like I was telling you, I have the clusters of different types of plants. Then I'll just keep a bottle over there. And then when it's watering day for those plants, then I have the water available to me. So I hope this all helps. Definitely check out. I also have a newsletter where I go through a few more bullet points and a little bit more detail. So you can sign up and subscribe for the newsletter here. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next post. But if you have any other comments, just let me know below. All right, see you guys soon. Peace.